Mr. Haidar ALcasseer. Today we are going to talk about punctuation. Since I've noticed that the majority have got mistakes in punctuating their writing, their pieces of writing, especially in writing the essay, which is task number 2 in the IELTS. The most common punctuation marks in English are capital letters and full stops, question marks, commas, colons and semicolons, exclamation marks and quotation marks. In speaking, we use pauses and the pitch of the voice to make what we say clear. Punctuation plays a similar role in writing, making it easier to read. Punctuation consists of both rules and conventions. There are rules of punctuation that have to be followed, but there are also punctuation conventions that give writers greater choice. Punctuation. Capital letters, for example, capital B, capital D, and full stops. We use capital letters to mark the beginning of a sentence, and we use full stops to mark the end of a sentence. For example, we went to France last summer. If you notice that the W is capitalized, and also F of France, we will come to explain it. Then we have full stop of the end of a sentence. When we start another sentence, we also capitalize the first letter. We were really surprised that it was so easy to travel on the motorways. Let's take another example. The Football World Cup takes place every 4 years. The next World Cup will be held in South Africa. In 2006, it was held in Germany. If you notice that the countries are capitalized, I mean the first letter for each country or city should be capitalized. Also, when we talk about an event, Football World Cup, we capitalize each first letter of the words of the event. We also use capital letters at the beginning of proper nouns. Proper nouns include personal names, including titles before names, nationalities and languages, days of the week and months of the year, public holidays as well as geographical places. For example, Dr. D is capitalized, dot, David, James. It's a proper noun, a name of a person, David and James. Is the consultant of Leeds City Hospital. The name of a place should be capitalized. Leeds, the L of Leeds, C of city, H of hospital. We don't only capitalize the H. No, we capitalize the first letter for each single word, for each word in the name of a place, because the place could be consisted of 5 words or of 1 word. That depends. Another example. They are planning a long holiday in New Zealand. It's the name of a place, of a country. Names of countries, cities and streets are capitalized. Can she speak Japanese? Okay, Japanese is also capitalized. If you notice, I mean the first letter of it. Why? Because it's a name of a language, also a name of a nationality. The next meeting of the group will take place on Thursday. Days are capitalized. What plans do you have for Chinese New Year? Chinese New Year is an event. 3 words, an event, also should be capitalized. We use capital letters for the titles of books, magazines and newspapers, plays and music. Oliver is a musical based on the novel Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Oliver Twist is a name of a book. The Straits Times is a daily English language newspaper in Singapore. So the S and the T are Straits Times. and also the S of Singapore, since it's the name of a country. They are performing Beethoven's Sixth Symphony. Why? Because it's a title. In addition to closing sentences, we also use full stops and initials for personal names. G.W. Dyer, David A. Johnston, comma, accountant. Accountant here is his job, so we put a comma between Johnston and accountant. We didn't put a full stop. Why? Because it identifies what he is, what job does he have, or who he is. Punctuation, question marks and exclamation marks. We use question marks to make it clear that what is said is a question. When we use a question mark, we do not use a full stop. For example, why do they make so many mistakes? It's a question. So, you are Harry's cousin. This is a question. Yes, that's right. The answer is a full stop. It's not a question mark at the end of it. We use exclamation marks to indicate an exclamative clause or expression in informal writing. When we want to emphasize something in informal writing, we sometimes use more than one exclamation mark. Listen. Look, this is an exclamation mark. Oh no! 3 exclamation marks. Please don't ask me to phone her. She will talk for hours. Okay. Commas. We use commas to separate a list of similar words or phrases. It's important to write in clear, simple, accurate words. They were more friendly, more talkative, more open than last time we met them. We don't normally use a comma before and of the end of a list of single words. They traveled through Bulgaria, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and Poland. American English does use a comma in lists before and. We took bread, cheese, and fruit with us. We use commas to separate words or phrases that mark where the voice would pause slightly. I can't tell you now. However, all will be revealed tomorrow at midday. We had, in fact, lost all of our money. James, our guide, will accompany you on the boat across to the island. Okay, in other words, let me re-explain this, especially for the last 2 examples. We had, in fact. This is to express. In fact, James, our guide, here to identify who James is. That means it's an extra expression. For example, before the last one, we had lost all of our money. It's fully meaningful sentence. James will accompany you is fully meaningful sentence. So our guide will be extra. Pay attention to these commas, or sometimes they put brackets. They put them between brackets, especially in the reading, because they try to trick you in the reading by giving, especially with headings, by giving a heading that matches what is between the 2 commas or the 2 brackets. So pay attention, please. Those are extra, not the main ideas. Okay, let's go on. This is not our subject, but I just wanted you to pay attention to these things, which I explained in the first lecture of mine. Separating clauses with commas. When many clauses are separated by and or but, we don't normally use a comma if the clauses have the same subject. However, we sometimes use commas if the clauses have different subjects. They were very friendly and invited us to their villa in Portugal. Same subject. Footballers these days earn more money, but they are fitter and play many more matches. The same subject. It was an expensive hotel in the center of Stockholm, but we decided it was worth the money. We have different subjects, so we have put a comma here. When a subordinate clause comes before the main clause, we commonly use a comma to separate the clauses. However, we do not always do this in short sentences. If you get lost in the city center, please don't hesitate to text us or phone us. Look at the difference. If you get lost, just phone us. Okay, we don't put a comma in the second one. Why? Because it's regarded as one sentence, while the first one is an embedded one. When we use subordinate or non-finite comment clauses to give further details or more information, we commonly use commas to separate the clauses. You do need to wear a darker jacket, if I may say so. To be honest, I thought they were very rude. Punctuation, colons, and semicolons. What is a colon? A colon is the two dots, one over the other one. A semicolon is a comma and a dot over. We use colons to introduce lists. There are three main reasons for the success of the government: economic, social, and political. We also use colons to indicate a subtitle or to indicate a subdivision of a topic. Life is a province, a personal view. We often use colons to introduce direct speech. Then he said, I really cannot help you in any way. This is an extra one you wouldn't need, especially the. We commonly use a colon between sentences when the second sentence explains or justifies the first sentence. Try to keep your flat clean and tidy. It will sell more easily. We use semicolons instead of full stops to separate two main clauses. In such cases, the clauses are related in meaning but are separated grammatically. Spanish is spoken throughout South America. In Brazil, the main language is Portuguese. Semicolons are not commonly used in contemporary English. Full stops and commas are more common. We don't usually punctuate weights and measures and references to numbers. 4 kg, 4 kilograms, 10 m, 10 meters, 5 m, dollars, $5 million. Pay attention to these please, because you might need them in the first task of the academic writing please. It's really important. Commas are used in numbers to indicate units of thousands and millions. 7, comma we have 980, 7,980. 11, comma 487, comma 562, which means 11,487,562. We use full stops, not commas, to indicate decimal points. 6.5, not 6,5. Be careful. We can punctuate times with full stops or colons. The shop opens at 9, full stop, 30. Or 9, 2 dots, which we call also here colons, 30. 9, the first one, which is full stop, 9 full stop 30, this is British. Please use it if you want, if you needed to use it in writing. Use the British style, please, because it makes difference. Okay, we come to the end of our lecture for today for punctuation. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, just to press the button of subscribe. If you have any questions or just ask them in the comments. If you have any criticism, please just write it in the comments too. That was Mr. Haidar ALcasseer with you. Thank you.